Hey guys, Thogden here, welcome back to a new video. We are reacting to the Premier League weekend. Some great results, and we've got Josh beside us to help us. Thogdad's in New York, he's sending in his clips. Let's get into Southampton versus United. What happened?
Man United won 1-0 away at St Mary's. Bruno Fernandes got the goal, didn't he? A beautiful volley into the corner.
Just thinking about that goal makes me excited. The way Diego Dalot took that ball on the right, found Bruno when all the defenders for Southampton were in the box thinking, where could this ball go? On the edge, first time on the volley, bottom left corner, watching that on television, it should have been pay-per-view. The Portuguese link up and Manchester United are back.
I was about to ask, are Man United back? That's 2 wins in 2 now, a big win against Liverpool and now Southampton away. It's 2 big tests, so going forward, Man United, they could be on the rise.
Much better than Brighton and Brentford. I don't know what's changed round. I think the positive signings of Casemiro, making steps towards getting the Glazers out, it's fired up the fans, and to get a big away win kicks them on, because that's all about the mentality.
But moving on to another incident in the game, and that was Southampton potentially having a penalty. What's your thoughts on this one? Because for me, it hit McTominay's hand about 3-4 times there. Handball rules seems to be changing every single time now, which I'm too confused about, mate.
The Southampton player, it skimmed off his arm, but it came off McTominay's 2 or 3 times. There's an argument for saying it came off both players, so it shouldn't have been given. However, there wasn't even a VAR check, and that's what I don't like about the Premier League. Why aren't they checking it? Why aren't they going that extra limb to find out, well, let's have a second opinion?
If it was Man United's position, I swear that would be given as a penalty. But because it's Southampton, they're lower in the table, they're a smaller club than United, it wasn't given.
United and Liverpool are often given decisions in favour of them compared to the other Premier League clubs.
Bit fishy.
Kotchap, though, the centre-back for Southampton, unreal.
Very good.
He came from Bochum last year. He's a young German centre-back. The geezer's a beast. Him and Salisu and Bazunu as well. Them 3 were just blocking and saving everything. It made it really hard for United. Well done to United. My man of the match, Diego Dalot. I thought he was so good down that right to find Bruno. Well done, United. They're back. They can kick on from here.
Man United 2 wins in 2 games, and it was that man, Bruno Fernandes, finishing off a very well-worked move. Now, I tell you what, it wasn't a classic. I watched it here in Manhattan, but defensively, I thought Man United were very good. Diego Dalot was probably my man of the match.
Brentford won, Everton won. Brentford are now in 10th place, Everton at 18th in the relegation zone. Now, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially considering they were 1-0 up for most of the match. I really thought it was the day for Lampard to get the most important points on board. 4 games in, only 2 points. Simply not good enough. And the fact they might even lose Anthony Gordon still, that 65 million has to be reinvested into quite a few different positions if they want to convincingly survive in the Premier League this season.
Talking of Gordon, he did get the goal. It was a really good finish, weren't it?
I like the long ball over. It was a good tactic from Everton. One thing they are doing is bringing Damari Gray and Anthony Gordon playing a massive role with pace over the top this season. They did well. They should have held on. It was a bit of a hiccup in the set piece for Brentford to allow them to get back into it. But if you actually look at the second half, it was mostly the Bees dominating.
I think all game it was the Bees. You look at the XG, I'm sorry to go off his stat, but over 2. You've got to be scoring these chances in the top flight.
And if they took their chances, Ivan Toney, Wissa and Buemo, they all had moments where they could have easily scored. I mean, fair play to Pickford. I just think Brentford should have won that game. They should have killed it off. They didn't. 1-1. Point aside. Let's go over to Thogdan.
Brentford, they will not be happy with results from the last couple of games. Everton, meanwhile, have picked up a couple of draws, but they haven't won all season, and that needs to change very quickly. I don't think either side will be pleased with this result.
Chelsea against Leicester. It's a live stream that I did on my channel. Conor Gallagher lost it in the head. 26th minute, he got a second yellow card. Now, if you play football, you play Sunday League, you're watching this, you know if you get booked early, you get on the ref's good side, you're very nice to him, you tell them that I'm not gonna, you don't dive into tackles at all. When Harvey Barnes was clean through, and I know it was in their own half, so it was pretty far away, but he's clearly the final man, sweeps him out, it's always gonna be yellow or directly a red card, and it was. There's not a Chelsea fan out there that should be debating whether that decision should have been given. He figured out a way to set the boys out and bring Reece James into the game. Raheem Sterling, who scored a wonderful solo effort and was at the back post for the second. Brendan Rodgers, you've really got to ask questions, though, for him, don't you, Josh?
Absolutely. I do not understand or know where he goes from here. You know, 10 men the whole game. Come on now, he's got to do better than this.
Yuri Tielemans was probably their man of the match. He sprayed the ball through to Jamie Vardy. One time Vardy took it around the keeper, he missed an open goal. They should have taken that chance. Harvey Barnes did eventually get 1 goal back, but Leicester should have taken control and dominated this game. Rodgers, time is up, mate. I think
he's got to go.
He's got to go. Is this the moment for you?
I think if he's not gone by after the international break, then there's a big problem at Leicester.
Yeah, Chelsea, congratulations, but big thinking to do under the Foxes. And Tielemans, is he going? Is he staying? Because the way he's playing, from what I watched that game and I thought he was class.
Raheem Sterling doing what he was brought to the club to do, ably assisted by Reece James, who I thought was superb. Leicester City, Jamie Vardy, very wasteful. Tielemans, superb. They were a bit unlucky, but they find themselves bottom of the Premier League. Will Brendan Rodgers last very long?
And it was a 6-goal thriller at the Etihad. Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 2. And if we're going off head-to-head results, Palace somehow always caused a problem. Townsend, and just Townsend.
That banger, the screamer.
He always scores screamers against City, and he did that one time when they won 2-0. And if you go to the last 2 games, Palace have picked up 4 points. The Etihad. So I was coming into this thinking there's going to be upset. Remind me of what Ben Foster and Tom predicted. I think they both went for Palace draws and wins.
Yeah, they did.
I'm like, oh my god, City are actually losing 2-0. Like, this is a real thing. There's some juju going on. But then they found a way back, and it was through Erling Braut Haaland. They dominated that next 45 minutes. City have finally got a striker where they can just kill off games, don't they?
When you're getting a 19-minute hat-trick in the Premier League, you know you're a good striker. Like, come on now.
Against Palace as well, who are a good team. The way Joel Ward got bullied. Haaland was through on goal. He had to hold off Joachim Anderson like this, and Joel Ward like this, and he's just dancing, and he still kicks the ball perfectly into the left bottom corner. How is your body doing that, and your foot is doing that?
He's simply a beast.
Haaland is probably the best striker now in the Premier League, and I've always said Kane over Haaland, but I'm going to say it now. I think Haaland is the new GOAT. I think he's better than Mbappe, for God's sake. I'll put that out on a limb and say Haaland is better than Mbappe. The way he holds off players is a joke. Anyway, Palace got destroyed. Unlucky for Patrick Vieira. You started well. Let's go over to my father.
This is another comeback story. It was all about Erling Braut Haaland. 16 touches, 3 goals. And Chelsea Rory, I've got a question for you. How many goals is he scoring this season? Because he is leading the Golden Boot race with 6 goals. That is a goal and a half every single game.
So moving up to the northwest, Liverpool 9, Bournemouth 0. Now let me just read you out the goal scorers here. Diaz with 2, Harvey Elliott with 1, Trent Alexander-Arnold with 1, Firmino 2, Van Dijk with a header, Mepham own goal, and Carvalho with a goal. Like, come on now, 9-0.
So we basically
the record.
The whole team scored.
Yeah, the whole team.
3 weeks in, you're thinking, oh, Liverpool, they're over all of this, and they went and battered Bournemouth 9-0. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, the Cherries there, are they relegated already? Should we just relegate them?
Should we relegate them now? Like, Man City have won the league, and Bournemouth have got relegated.
If there's 3 teams to get relegated this season, you have to put Bournemouth as one of them. They just got sucked into the incredible Anfield atmosphere that was rocking around the ground.
Yeah.
Josh, why are you being sarcastic,
listen,
bro? Why are you looking at me like that?
No, listen, mate. I don't care if you're playing Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Conceding 16 goals in your last 3 games is simply unacceptable.
No, the support from each other managers was beautiful, and that is why Jurgen Klopp's one of the best in the world in what he does. What happened to Mohamed Salah, though?
I don't know. Everyone has him as captain on FPL, and he put out a disaster class for us. Missed sitters after sitters.
I captain my FPL.
He's getting subbed out.
Like this video if you captain Mo Salah on FPL.
Oh, we're getting about 50,000 likes then.
We are, because everybody did, and he only got 6 points because 1 extra for clean sheet. He got nothing.
Fuming.
Even my nan scored this week. Everybody scored because of the fixtures. I trust the process. Newcastle at home next week. I'm captaining you again. Come on! I didn't expect that. What did I predict? I think I predicted 3-0. Foster and Okoa said 4 goals. No one thought 9, so well done to the Reds.
But Harvey Elliott, he played a half and got a goal. I'm delighted for the lad. He's going to play for England one day. Mark my words. Now, Bournemouth, I predicted they'd be 20th, and I'm not changing that. They are conceding 4 goals every game, and at this level, you can't do that.
Brighton versus Leeds now. Joshua, you're a Brighton fan. You've won again. Pascal Gross is in our FPL teams. We're up good. 11 points.
11 points, but we're going on a European tour, baby. 10 points.
No.
We're 4th in the table. We're on absolute fire. Come on, mate. I want you to talk about Brighton. I want to hear it.
You're basically taking away Villa's spot and Leicester's. Villa and Leicester were in that 7th to 11th position. Brighton and Crystal Palace, the 2 teams this season who I believe are replacing them. They look way stronger. Brighton have an incredible system with Graham Potter.
Brighton since Arsenal away, with Moise Caicedo making his debut in that game. We've won 8 games, we've drawn 3, and we've lost 1. And that one loss being against Man City away, mate.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
That guy is 20 years old. He is Ecuadorian. He's an absolute talent, mate. Watch out for him in the next few years. And even now, mate, he's shining in the Premier League. He may even go in the next few years from Brighton, if I'm honest. But what a baller he is, and what a difference he's made to our club.
And extra depth with Estupiñán from left back. So
crazy.
Everything is going up Millhouse.
We're signing
for
all
Potter.
the Ecuadorians.
Yeah, well done. Harry Potter doing a great job. Leeds United, though, I don't know. They lost it in the head with Jesse Marsh. I feel like he was kicking off with the officials most of the time. a lack of energy. Maybe they were a bit burnt out after smashing Chelsea.
Or Brighton
3-0.
are just too good, mate. A lot of people just saying, oh, they're poor, they're this, they're that. Every single game we beat, it's always about the other team. But I think people need to give credit about how well Brighton are playing.
We credited Brighton. You can't go away to Brighton and barely have a chance and lose 1-0. Look at momentum. Yes, they climbed into the game in the last few minutes, but overall, I think they missed Bamford. They missed a striker. Too reliant on Rodrigo is the issue. So when he comes back fit, hopefully this midweek coming up. Prem predictions out tomorrow, by the way. But well done to Brighton on all 3 points. Let's go over to Thogden.
Pascal Gross has done it again. And what can you say about Brighton? 1 goal conceded in 6 hours of football. They're in a Champions League place. They are the surprise package of the season. Absolutely brilliant for Josh and all the Brighton fans.
Over to the Emirates for the 5:30 Saturday kickoff. And it was a surprise. Mitrovic dominated Gabriel, where they went 1-0 up quite late on in the match. And you're thinking, you know what? Fulham are going to sneak 3 points here. Is that what you were thinking?
I was thinking that until 8 minutes later, Odegaard pops up with a deflected strike, makes it 1-1. So that's unfortunate for Fulham.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes later, when Gabriel, the centre-back, pops up from a little bit of a goal-mouth scramble, he tucks it home and it's 2-1 Arsenal.
From zero to hero, mate.
Wow,
That's all I can say.
Yeah,
but I want to give a positive, first of all, to Fulham. They are a system team. Last season, they had players in the midfield like Thomas Kearney. They were luxury players.
Yeah.
Now they've got hard-working lads like Palhinha and Reed, and even Andreas Pereira, who will take set pieces, who have been working their arse off to help cover the defence with Kenny Teti, Robinson, Timber, who now probably feel a lot more comfortable in that position. Overall, Fulham are they could stay up this season.
They're looking good, aren't they?
Yeah,
good start.
but Arsenal, once again, Martinelli, Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, all holding the front line. And I know it was only by a goal and the margin wasn't great, but 3 points is all that matters. And their purple patch continues.
And one thing I got to mention is the Arsenal fans. You got behind your players when they needed it most. 1-0 down. The Ashburton Army, I want to give a credit to them.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
I loved it.
I
they all wear black now.
Yeah,
They've got a little banner at the bottom. Now, I've sat in that area before and I really enjoyed it.
Really
in the North London derby. And I've met a few of them, so I want to big them up. I love to see that the Arsenal ultras, I want to see more of that in the Premier League.
It's good to see
I go to football
yeah.
around everywhere in the world, and when English clubs give an initiative and invest some time and money into something like that, I'm backing them. So well done.
100%.
Arsenal 2, Fulham 1, and that man Mitrovic has gone and scored his 4th goal of the season. He is second in the Golden Boot race, but Arsenal, another comeback at the weekend. Odegaard and Gabriel getting the goals, and they are looking superb. They're the only team in the division with a 100% record.
On to the Sunday fixtures. We were at Forest Spurs, so we didn't get to watch 90 minutes. Apologies. But I predicted a Wolves 1-1 draw against Newcastle.
Did you?
And guess what happened?
1-1 draw.
So I got something right.
You did.
Finally. Gonzalo Guedes starting to gel within the side.
Looking good.
They need a second goal, though. They need
do.
to kill off games, or they will have a long, treacherous relegation battle.
Yeah, and they're still looking for that first win, unfortunately, because it took until 90 minutes until Newcastle got an equaliser.
Wow.
Saint Maximin with an absolute world-class volley.
The last 20 minutes
Come
were
on now.
mainly Newcastle.
It was.
They were starting to dominate. But I did not expect for the final finish to be one like that, with a ball bounced up, I don't know how, into the air.
Goal of the weekend.
Flying miles into the air. And Saint Maximin,
Time that.
technique on point. Finish, delicious. Goalkeeper, lost. If you're a home fan, if you're Wolves, you should be clapping that, because that was spectacular.
Well,
one of the best goals I have ever seen. Saint Maximin, fair play, and you've secured Newcastle a point, which you can take home, and obviously your home form is where you're at, so just bring it home and get some more points in.
Now, Newcastle unbeaten this season, but 3 of those games are draws. They need to change that a little bit. Wolves are now 19th in the table. Something has got to change there.
Moving over to Villa Park, we've got some talking to do.
We have got some talking to do.
West Ham went away to the Midlands and came back with 3 points. Unbelievable how poor it was from Villa to not even score one. Midweek, they played Bolton, smashed it 4-1. They played their first team.
I'll give them credit. The first half, they were out there, they were playing well, but it was more about the second half. Steven Gerrard bringing off Douglas Luiz, who's arguably one of their best players in midfield. They bring him off. It caused problems for Villa when West Ham had the space to drive on, and that's how Fornells got his lucky goal in the end.
Now, Villa and West Ham compete for the same sort of position in the Premier League table. It's just outside the top 6, from 7th to 10th stretch, right? You're giving them 3 points and completely weakening yourself, and to show a lack of fight for the goal. I know it was deflected in, but they had it coming. They did show some great last-ditch defending. I remember when Jared Bowen cut in, but it wasn't enough. There was no creativity. Ollie Watkins, Danny Ings, they need to get more off the ball. There's no tactics.
The
only thing I'll say that they're doing well from Steven Gerrard is the set pieces. They figured a way to score directly from a set piece with Douglas Luiz against Bolton. They scored from Konza, which was disallowed from a set piece. So that's the one thing they've got. In terms of on the pitch play,
it's awful.
Awful.
Steven Gerrard's got to go, mate. I'm telling you now.
Is this it?
I'm not convinced. Ever since he's come in, he's got a record similar to Gary Neville at Valencia. And come on, that says it all.
Who do you bring in? Who's available
I'd even go
for Aston Villa?
I'd say Brendan Rodgers. He's looking like he's going to leave. And tactically, I think he's a good manager. I think I'd be a really good fit for Aston Villa, personally.
I was thinking that. When you asked about new managers, I was like, Brendan Rodgers could do a little switcheroo here. I want to hear your says. Give me the best manager option for them. But for West Ham, they're off the mark. Thomas Souček looking very good going forward, quite attacking. Pablo Fornals with the strike, and hopefully Skamaka will start smacking in those goals. Let's see what happens.
It was key substitutions in that game from Moyes that really turned it round, because Villa were good in the first half and completely fell away in the second. Will Stevie Gerrard stay in a job?
Finally, Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham Hotspur. I didn't watch this game. Can someone tell me in the comments what happened? Because do you know anything about it?
I think we made a video on it actually, Theo.
In fact, I think
check it out now.
Tactically, Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson, Jesse Lingard. Did Steve Cooper do the right thing playing them three?
It started well, but when you get further into the game, it looked like they needed a bit more physical presence up top. That's why they needed Awanoi up top for a bit more physical presence, which I think. Do you not
I think all three of them, they're quick, they're creative, great on the ball. Like, you needed a big man. When things were thrown around in the box and you're dealing with Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez and even a three-back, Ben Davis, where they're all close in, they can put the blocks in. You need a pure in-and-out striker who's got an eye for goal and can hold off a player. Give them a shoulder. That's what Forest missed. If they had that, they would have converted a few of their chances. Harry Kane, man. Early doors.
You can't give him that space.
5 minutes in as well. Steve Cook and Worrell and McKenna need to communicate and figure out who is closing down Harry Kane, because he's one of the best strikers in the world and we've given him space 20 yards from the goal. That should not run.
You need to close down that space, and if you give Harry Kane that much time and space, you know he's going to put it away.
And it didn't end there, where the ball was whipped in from Spurs at the back post. One of the Forest defenders got an arm to it. Do you think it was a penalty?
Absolutely, a stonewall penalty, but my question is a red card.
You screamed it in the Forest end.
I was in the zone of watching it on TV and I screamed it, and it's so natural as a neutral perspective. I was thinking Kane in my FP on, and he was going to take the penalty, and he did, and he missed.
I don't know. Credit to Dean Henderson throughout the game. He made 5 or 6 very good saves. Tottenham could have battered Forest that day on the chances that they had. Outside of the boot cross, Kane scores the second, limbs in the away end, and as it should be for the calibre of finish that was at the end.
So good. The classy ball into the box, Kane header, 2-0 Tottenham, game, set and match.
Spurs are going different this year with Antonio Conte.
Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Now, I predicted the scoreline right, and I predicted the goal scorer. Harry Kane was the difference with a brace. But I tell you what, I do not like a 2-0 scoreline. Bolton losing to Plymouth 2-0 at the weekend. The least said, the better.
20,000 likes and we'll continue the series. We don't know if you want it. So if you want us to continue to react to our predictions, and especially with Thogdad back in a couple days, we will continue this. Let us know in the comments below. Josh can do one. He'll go back to behind the camera editing it. And by the way, where would you like us to go next as well? Let us know down there.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, see you in a bit. Bye-bye. Let's go!